Vladimir is not really a hero. I guess they want Best Players Ocean to be sitting on. Chippy's, I believe, plays a fair amount of Vladimir himself, not just the Aurelia. And they're getting rid of the Oriana again. They're not opting towards the Xerath. Instead, they want to make sure that Chippy's is as weak as possible, but they can predict what is going to be picked from Luch.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think it'll be interesting for them to take the Xerath away, or do you think they'll just pick a mid laner that can play a little bit better into it?
I don't think they'll take the Xerath away from him. It's not something that I would be expecting Chenny to be on, though it is very possible that he may do so.
Yeah.
Chenny's loving the Cassiopeia. I'm not surprised if he continues to stay on it, but after last game, a very unfortunate scoreline might demoralize that pick a fair amount.
Yeah, everything mattered. Everything kind of hang on that last game for BPO, so it was good to see them crack out a win, especially with Xerath doing so much after not so much the game before, but as expected, Sejuani being hovered over as the first pick for Sudden Fear.
Yeah, so they've gotten rid of the Hecarim, the Nunu, and the Nautilus here on Best Players Ocean, leaving available Gragas and Sejuani this time. Might be the same as last game, seeing a Gragas and Sejuani jungle come out. No real reason not to pick them, is the way I see it.
Yeah, both great junglers, great at what they do, and we saw Jakey getting some amazing Gragas ults towards the last quarter of that game, really cementing the lead that he had and pretty much winning his team at last few fights.
Yeah, exactly. The momentum completely changed into favor of Sudden Fear towards the end of the game there, around the 50-minute mark, and Jakey hitting that clutch ultimate, knocking them all towards the rest of his team and just decimating a team fight on the back of his initiation. His Gragas is definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, for sure. So it will be interesting. But Sion, that is something we overlooked in the ban phase, and Sion being picked up here by Chippies.
Yeah, banned away in every other game except for this one right now.
Yeah.
Putting him on that Sion, I guess heavily contested. Chippies has a lot of heroes, and the fact that they're respecting him with so many bans, still being able to get a strong hero of his choice, you can't really ban him out, but they're accepting the fact that Sion was up and available.
Yeah, Sion pretty much one of the greatest tanks this game has to offer, with infinitely stacking health on his Soul Furnace. He's just going to be a monster. His ultimate, though you can hear it, you can't predict where it's coming, and before you know it, you've got a giant undead zombie in your lane trying to kill you.
Yeah, that's right. It's absolutely ridiculous. You do hear it, but then it's not always possible to tell where he's going. He might just be ulting back to lane. That happens a fair amount.
Or running away.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Gnar pick come out here from Christmas Trees. He's very good on that Gnar. We saw how much work he can do.
Yeah,
and it's quite easy to harass a Sion lane. Sion doesn't necessarily take a lot of damage, but it's quite easy to just harass as Gnar, as we see the Kennen and the Corki locked in.
Okay, so Kennen again, it did really well for them last game, providing so much crowd control, providing just a lot of kind of dictating the way the fight is to go for them. And Corki, just a real staple AD carry, providing good burst, good initiate, and a lot of great things on Corki.
Yeah, definitely. They're picking up the Corki. It's a different pick instead of the Sivir with the Kennen. It's not going to be as easy to engage until the Righteous Glory is available, but you've got the Sejuani to back it up. And based off what we saw last game, Kennen was using his ults for the most part just to zone away certain people while the rest of his team would clean up the fight. You might even see the Sivir picked here for the other side on Best Players Ocean.
Yeah, we didn't see that Kennen used for many assassination potentials in lane. He was kind of tame, kind of just using it to, you know, keep the lane in his favor. But like I said, no real assassinations here. And Graves maybe again for Zeratul.
A very big confidence pick. We said at the start of last game in Champ Select that they certainly like him on Zeratul. It suits his playstyle perfectly, sitting in the front lines, being absurdly aggressive and just doing his thing. And they've hovered over it. They've actually picked the Gragas with it.
Yeah, Gragas again for Jakey. He did an amazing job last game of showing us why Gragas is such a highly contested pick. Even beating out the Sejuani on the other side. Just his ultimate doing so much damage. Not damage, but providing so much displacement for the enemy team.
Yeah, it had a lot of utility for the rest of his team, allowing Luch, who was massive, no deaths, I believe, at the end of that game.
Yeah, that was insane.
To actually carry the rest of his team. And such a strong hyper-scaling champion, able to do that much work on the back of the tanks in the front lines here from Best Players Ocean.
But it looks like Kalista has been hovered over. Could this potentially be, if this is locked in a mid lane Corki, and we will have the Kennen Kalista?
I don't think I want to dwell on what could be a Kalista until it is locked in.
Good point.
But the Gnar being locked in is something that we did speak on. And it's quite an easy lane against the Sion. Whether you could push him out of lane or not, you're still just going to be a nuisance hitting the immovable object, at least trying to put dents in his armor.
Yeah, that is true. And it looks like as the time runs out, Kalista is going to be in the ADC role this game.
Yes, which puts Corki mid, I believe. unless it's a Corki jungle and they're just trying to confuse me. That should put Corki mid, and that is an interesting decision up against what was predicted to be a Xerath.
Yeah.
There was no real other reason for Luch to be playing something other than the Xerath. He only really plays the Orianna and the Xerath, and we saw one game as the Lulu where they lost. That, yeah, I don't know how that matchup works.
Yeah, Corki Xerath, a matchup I'm not too familiar with. I guess once Corki hits 6, he can match the range of Xerath and farm safely. He has good escape on that Valkyrie, so will be interesting to see if Gragas is able to get off any good ganks.
It'd be very hard for a Gragas to gank unless he comes all the way from the back and is able to just disrupt the Corki while he's going. But it's very safe to be Corki. But into a Xerath lane, you don't have any shields. You don't really have sustain. You like to go for a Trinity Force first item. And it's just going to be a poke war once you hit level 6. But I feel as though Xerath does it better than Corki.
Yeah, and it looks like BPO just bringing out nearly the exact identical team comp to last game, just changing out that banned away Hecarim for the Scion.
Yeah, well, if it's not broken, there's no point in changing it.
That's exactly right.
The only difference is they've got that Scion now, and Scion's going to provide very similar things. He's just going to be a massive frontline brawler that's just going to be in the way, in the face of the Kennen, the Corki and Kalista too. I guess it's going to be pretty hard for... It is going to be hard for the Corki coming into the late game stages because the front line is so big from best players Ocean that I would wager they need to get Corki ahead early. They need to focus on him not being behind. If he's going to try and 1v1 the Xerath, it needs to go in his favor so that he can start ramping up and scaling to allow the Kalista to scale even later into the game.
Yeah, it looks like a very mid-game oriented team around Sudden Fear. They've got the mid-game Corki, really good around that level 11 when he has 2 points in his ultimate. Cooldown doesn't really matter because it's very dependent on his rage bar. But Sejuani as well, her ultimate, so good for those team fights where not everyone maybe has enough tenacity to survive.
Yeah, definitely. They've still got a strong potential for team fights in their comp, and I think it starts to spike once it hits the mid-game stages, having the AoE combo of the Sejuani and the Kennen and the Gnar, and then you've got a Corki and Kalista sitting in the background just throwing out rockets and spears. Very strong once you hit the mid-game stages, but then that's not to say the best players Ocean's team comp is by any means weak coming into the mid-game stages. Once you get 2 items on the Xerath, once you get this, Scion rolling with a big item, he's going to be immovable. Xerath's going to be doing a lot of damage as well. And Graves, we saw what it can do last game, even coming into the late game where most people would say that Graves drops off.
Yeah, people tend to not think that Graves is so strong when no one's really going for him, or the damage is so huge that his passive not even enough to really suffice. But we saw Zeratul just brave moding it right in there, getting a good buckshot, constantly cleaning up kills with collateral damage. And yeah, just really being a reckoning force.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of kills off the back of the Xerath damage, which was ridiculous. And it enabled him to get some goal, get a little bit ahead of his opponent, and start to play with some confidence from the kills that he was getting. It's just put him in such a strong position. And coming into this game, he's going to be feeling really good about himself. So is Luch. And they're going to have to come out and just take the game by storm.
Now, I want to talk about this top lane matchup. We got Gnar versus Scion. Both these champions tend to build a lot of health, get a lot of tanky. But with Scion getting free health off one of his abilities, how much stronger is he going to be?
They nerfed that a bit, I believe. I think
Okay.
that's on the live patch at the moment, or the patch that we're on right now, is that he gets it a little bit less, it scales less. But it's still going to be a very annoying... He's going to be very tanky.
Yeah.
He's going to be most likely more tanky than Gnar could be, but it's not going to be by a significant amount. Gnar likes to go for the Phage first, whereas generally you see a Scion go for the straightaway tanky item. So he'll be tankier than the Gnar is mid-game stages, but coming into the late game, they're both going to be as immovable as each other. Yeah,
definitely. And Scion probably tends to want to run into lanes more than teleport, but he can also use the ult to get back to lane himself. So he's got 2 ways to pretty much cross the entire map. So maybe having a little bit more map presence than Gnar.
Yeah, definitely possible to have more map presence. It's not too likely that he's going to use his ultimate to get back to lane. He'll most likely start ganking with it and roam and at least try and make things happen. But for the most part, what we're seeing from both of these teams at the moment is they don't really want to fight unless it's a 1v1 until there's an objective to take.
Yeah, and now we go back to the Corki versus Xerath, a matchup we're both a little bit not too experienced with. Corki, he's going to be going for AD, I believe, rather than... We've seen Corkis go for a Luden's Echo every now and again, but it's not too common.
It is a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
It's not likely that it's going to be the thing we're going to see, but definitely is a thing. If it does go to an AD Corki, it'll be the Trinity Force, Blade of the Ruin King or Bloodthirster type build. It
Yeah,
has
just
its big item spikes once it hits the Trinity Force. And then from then on, every single time you finish an item, you get a big spike. Up against the Xerath, he's very similar in terms of spiking and damage with items. But it's not necessarily going to be... It's not going to be an easy lane for a Corki, I don't think.
No, that's what I was thinking. Xerath always, until 6, will have the massive rage advantage. Corki relying on his short range, easy to dodge Phosphorus Bomb and auto attacks alone. But if he sees the stun miss, there's a perfect opportunity for the Valkyrie and Gatling gun to just shred through the armor. And Corki's passive, I do believe, gives him true damage as well on auto attacks.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the aggression that the Corki can bring about in the 1v1 or with a jungle gank. I think for the most part, it's going to come down to a jungle gank having some kind of pressure there.
Yeah.
And letting the Corki get ahead. If the Corki starts to snowball and get ahead, very easy to 1v1 a Xerath. You just have to dodge the stun.
And now with another point I want to make, with Corki doing a lot of magic damage for an AD-based champion, do you think that this will incline Xerath to still go for his Athene's Unholy Grail?
It's hard to say. I think that being a Xerath, you kind of want the mana.
Yeah.
And you get a lot less mana if you go for the Morellos. But you are up against, I guess, an AD champion. But
Yeah.
Corki does a lot of magic damage, to be fair. The Phosphorus bombs and even the bombs that you throw out do a lot of magic damage. On top, he's more of a mixed damage carry.
Yeah, a bit of a
that
hybrid.
just happens to be able to auto attack, and that's where most of the physical comes from. So,
Yep.
being in a mid lane against the Corki, you're assuming that most of his damage on you is going to come from spells. It would be fine, perfectly fine to go for the Athene's Unholy Grail as your first item.
Yeah, that's a good call, especially against Xerath, where you're never really going to be in auto attack range. It's always going to be just spells or missile barrages hitting you. So that Athene's is going to be the likely choice. Just thought I'd bring it up. And then we go down to the bot lane. Callista, such a strong pick right now, especially combined with that cannon. Once they hit 6, the combo is going to come out. He's going to get thrown in, and the Slicing Maelstrom will be essentially free to hit.
Yeah, the Callista Cannon combo, something we've touched on earlier, is so immensely strong, and that once you hit level 6, you can throw the cannon into their team, and then they're knocked up, they're getting hit by the Slicing Maelstrom, and it just gives you all the time in the world to actually get Ren stacks on one or both of them, and then just decimate them with the amount of damage that pulling those Ren stacks out will do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this bot lane goes. A more traditional lane on the side of BPO with Graves and Thresh. Two champions we've seen time and time again, tested and tried. Really just great bot lane synergy.
Yeah, definitely. High burst coming out of both heroes, even the Thresh having his all-in potential if he hits a hook. Couple that with the amount of damage that a Graves can do with the buckshot and collateral damage, and once they hit 6, there's just as high a chance that they're going to be able to kill whoever they like as well.
Yeah, so this game looks like it's going to be a good one. Sudden Fear were denied a 3-0 win. BPO were able to bring out the win in that last game. Both mid lanes taking cleanse, though. That could be interesting. We saw cleanse out of both of them last game, I do believe, as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that was for the Sejuani and the stun coming from Xerath. So it looks like Corki kind of in the same mindset as playing Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I guess when you're playing the Corki mid against the Xerath, you want to be able to try and get into auto attack range.
Yeah, of course.
But then you're at risk of being stunned. And you got to do everything in your power to not get into auto attack range if you're the Xerath. It's going to be very hard if he has a cleanse.
Yeah.
Even if you hit the stun, you can just cleanse it.
The good thing for Corki in this situation about Xerath stun is the closer range it hits, the less it stuns for. So if Corki Valkyrie's right into a point-blank stun, it's not going to be enough for Xerath to get out of that.
Definitely, and the amount of damage that a Corki can output if it comes down to the 1v1 is likely going to be higher than the Xerath up until, say, the 2-item stages where the burst really comes through for the Xerath.
Do you think, anyway, Sudden Fear were unable to get a 3-0 win. Best BPO beat them last game. Let's get into game 4 and see what happens. And yeah, it looks like we just got everyone going to their usual positions as we've seen pretty much every single game so far.
Yeah, a lot of respect, I suppose, would be the way to describe it. Both mid laners looking to place a ward opposite their lane to kind of see what happens if there's an invade through the mid lane. Nothing special going to happen. A lot of basic. No one wants to invade the other. There's no lane swaps at the moment in this series. It's all very standard, all very careful. And rightly so, of course, because if Sudden Fear win this, they stay in the OPL.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're kicking themselves after last game. They had every opportunity to close it out, but just didn't have the strength to do so.
Exactly. And coming into this game, they might feel a little bit shaky about that fact. They have every reason to feel a little bit shaky about that, but there doesn't seem to be any jitters with the draft. It seems perfectly fine to me.
Great looking team comps coming out of both teams. BPO just kind of replaying what they did last game, hoping for that synergy to remain. And Sudden Fear pretty much mixing it up, only really keeping the Kennen and the Sejuani from the last game. This is the first Corki mid we've seen so far.
Yeah, so given how the game went last time, or last game rather,
Yeah.
the win conditions seem to be fairly similar. It's going to come down to objectives until you can actually find kills. It's going to be very hard for a Xerath or a Corki to find kills in mid lane. It's going to be very hard for two tanks in the top lane to be able to kill each other without a jungle gank. And it's going to be just as hard for the bot lane to find kills unless they find the perfect initiation. And the junglers are always going to be hanging around bottom. Definitely look towards bot lane, though, as the most volatile lane where most of the kills will happen.
Yeah, and nah, he has to do the walls if he wants to match Sion, because Sion can just die, take them, and teleport and not really lose anything. Nah doesn't have the same liberties that Sion has. He's going to have to do that the old-fashioned way, getting a bit of a leash from his mid laner, which is going to help him out, and he takes it pretty much at the exact same time that Sion does.
Yeah, thankfully getting the leash because he is quite low. And I don't know how he would have gone if he didn't get that leash. And Sion doing the cheesy, cheeky Sion move, getting the level 2, being able to teleport. Nothing out of the ordinary, funnily enough, you say, as you watch a Sion die.
Yeah, and Nah wasn't revealed in the top lane, so Sion must have told his team the exact same thing, that, hey, Nah is in somewhere doing some camp. He's going to be level 2 as well. I'm not going to have that level 2 advantage I like to have as a Sion.
Yeah, and it might give a bit of awareness of where not to go if you were the jungler on either side there, knowing that particular champions will do these buffs.
Yeah, it looks like in the mid lane, not too much happening. Chenny Boy just trying to get some auto attacks when he can. Luch, still pretty healthy on mana. I saw him get a nice auto attack in, giving him basically a full bar after using a few Qs to poke. So not too much happening here. Chenny Boy a little bit up in CS, but it's not really meaning anything at this stage in the game.
No, the minions pushing into the tower. The CS advantage is going to help a lot for Chenny Boy, though. Having that range, I guess it's going to be very hard for the Xerath to want to use that last hit to get some mana back without a Corki being right there in your face and auto-attacking you for it. At this stage in the game, I'd say the damage goes to Corki's favor in a 1v1 trade.
Yeah, it looks like he's just getting that lane pushed in, and if Luch wants to stay around, he's going to take those phosphorus bombs, as we just saw, but still doing a great job of last hitting despite the pressure.
I think the real issue now is that he's running out of mana.
Yeah, definitely.
And
he needs
Corki's going to be able to stay.
Yeah, he needs to get that 1,000 gold and get back to base to buy that Chalice of Harmony. But it looks like, oh, the phosphorus bomb, a nice little walk forward, knowing that he wasn't going to get back in time to dodge it, but still taking damage for his troubles.
It's always mind games when a Xerath uses his Q, isn't it? It's about, will I juke or will I not juke? What will they think that I'm going to do? And you can see Luch mind gaming himself out there and missing for no particular reason while Chenny walks straight.
Yeah, the Xerath Eye of the Storm just doing a lot of slowing potential here. He's completely out of mana now, but Chenny Boy is getting low, but he still has his potion left.
Yeah, Corki still has his pot available. Not popping it just yet, but Jakey's hanging around the mid lane, so he has popped the pot. It's going to be very hard to find a kill onto this Corki if he has his Valkyrie available.
Yeah, unless the body slam interrupts the Valkyrie, it's not going to be enough. But as I say that was just so fast. Jakey, he flash body slammed perfectly, catching Corki off guard. Even the flash and the Valkyrie were not enough to save him.
So what I really liked from that was the way that Luch was walking around the mid lane, forcing Chenny Boy to walk towards that side of the mid lane, forcing him to walk towards the bush, and giving a free kill to Jake. You can just flash body slam him then.
Yeah, like you said, mind games. Luch just had it pretty much planned out exactly how he was going to play that, and everything went perfectly. Corki, unfortunately, wasting a summoner spell, still dying. Jakey just doing a really nice flash body slam, hitting it immediately. No time for reaction there. And yeah, we're looking at this bot lane now. Kalista just trying to get some damage out.
And they're definitely getting damage out. The CS difference, only 4 CS. Zeratul always very good at keeping up in last hits, even when he looks like he's losing in lane. And they're definitely feeling the hurt from a Cannon-Kalista combo.
Yeah, it won't be 6 until we see that really become prominent, but Kennen does have the range auto attack. That means the Kalista passive will be able to proc quite easily.
Definitely so, and you can see they're pushing in now, trying to deny as many last hits as possible. As Jakey says, get out of my jungle.
Yeah, luckily the mid laners both looking to come over here and help out their respective junglers, but both backing off at the last minute as they saw nothing was going to come from it.
Yeah, and after that, they pretty much just go back to doing their thing. Jakey's just going to go sit in his jungle, clear some wards, and
Here comes the first Cyanide. Unfortunately, it's a whiff. This might give Christmas Trees what he needs to re-engage, but he's just going to go back to farming. Sion doing what Sion does best, and that's just push the lane, shout at minions, and make them run in fear.
Well, Christmas Tree's just hitting level 6 himself. Fortunately enough to dodge the Sion ult prior.
Yeah.
Has enough for the Mega Gnar, but Sion smartly backing off now, knowing that he doesn't have the ult available. And Christmas Trees has his.
So Luch is the first one in the mid lane to hit 6. Corki should be getting it off this wave. That will make his time in the mid a lot easier once he can start getting ammo for those missile barrage.
Yeah, definitely. Once he starts ramping up in the missile barrage poke, he'll be able to compete with the Xerath in regards to poke, or at least attempts to compete with the Xerath in regards to poke. And we'll see how the mid lane starts to change once there's 6 across the board.
Yeah, Luch just trying to see if Corki overextends there. He wants to get the nice stun slow combo followed by the Q. But yeah, just hitting those Qs pretty consistently when he's not psyching himself out.
You can tell that he knows what he's doing when it comes to Xerath. And we said it before, mid lane when it comes to skill shot heroes is almost entirely about mind games. You need to predict what the other person is doing. And Luch is very good at the moment of predicting what Channy Boy's thinking.
Yeah, an amazing Xerath game last game, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see maybe even a repeat this game. But here comes the Missile Barrage, just doing what they need to do, some damage. But it looks like Xerath getting really aggressive here. The stun is hit. This could be a potential all-in, but Luch pretty low on mana, so he doesn't want to overstay his welcome as Sejuani was just coming around from the left.
Yeah, Luch needed to hit one more Q before he felt confident enough to even blow the ultimate for damage. There needs to be some kind of kill pressure. It's not a whole lot that he was going to achieve there, but very good poke.
Speaking of kill pressure, it looks like there might be a dive onto Luch here, but he does get away, just stunning Sejuani as he walks off. Not too much coming out of that, just Kennen even coming up to try and get a stun off. If the Sejuani ult was used, not sure if it hit though.
Yeah, nice rotation from Kennen coming from the bot lane. Had no reason to be in the lane, so why not come middle? And they didn't find a kill. They did find the cleanse out of Luch though.
That would have been his way out of that glacial prison. Once the glacial prison's down, that's no more CC to come your way. Now, what is important also to note is that Kennen, his stun isn't that long a stun. It is a single target stun until the ultimate is available. You got to make sure you can get the 3 stacks of his passive on. So yeah, Luch would have had to stay around for quite a bit of time just for Kennen to get that.
Yeah, definitely. And being able to force the cleanse out is very possible to come back around and get a second gank off now. It hurts a lot when you don't have that cleanse available, and he's going to have to play a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, it looks like Sion just doing Sion things and being a really bully for Nara in this top lane. He's not having the best time, is he?
No, he's definitely having a rough time. He's going to be okay, though, once he goes to Pink Bomi takes that blue buff, and the Poro is a little bit stronger than Rockets, apparently.
That's going to be very bad for Chenny Boy here. He needs that extra cooldown reduction to stack up his missile ammo. He needs the extra mana so he can constantly maintain his farm against Luch. So this could prove Luch to really run away with this lane if he's able to use his blue buff effectively. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot harder for Corki to try and trade. You can see he's already hurting in regards to mana. And
but look at that. As the sun comes out, he's going all in. He wants this kill. Is he going to get it? No, he's just going to get enough poke to maybe force Luch back, but Luch replies with the ultimate hitting 1, hitting 2, and the Q to follow. No, the blue buff is going to be enough to let him stay in this lane and farm from afar.
And this is the issue with Corki not having the blue buff right now. He has no mana. He's going to have to recall, or the onslaught from Xerath, because consistently coming out will force him out of lane.
Yeah, Corki just trying to hit a nice timing window with that Sheen. And so we see the 2 junglers fighting. Both have used basically all their spells and not doing too much. But as I say that, the Glacial Prison comes out. I don't really know why, because Jakey wasn't in any real danger. Chenny Boy is low on mana, low on health, and Xerath is closer.
You know what? He's sending a message.
Of course.
No, he's ulting to say, like, you tried to come into my jungle and you did it to me before, so I'm just going to do it back to you. And yeah, I don't know. I think he wasted the ultimate a little bit there. Didn't really need to use it whatsoever. There was no kill pressure. It is a Gragas after all. And Gragas having his ult available, didn't even need to use it.
And that's going to reduce his kill pressure immensely, because now Graves and Thresh can play so far up without fear of a Sejuani ult. And as I say that, Jakey just wants another go. He says, you've got no ult, I've got mine. Knocks him into the wall, but it's not going to be enough as these guys just using ults on each other to no avail.
It's like looking at a mirror almost, where there's different champions, but they are thinking the same things about each other. You use your ultimate on me, I'm just going to use it back because I can. and forcing him out of his own jungle, I guess.
That's 2 massive cooldowns blown. That's a lot of pressure relieved from especially the solo lane in the top where there's so much crowd control innately available. Oh my god, Chenny Boy, you're getting taken low. Oh, but the Eye of the Storm connecting. Can he finish up with the ult? And he does on the second shot. But has he overstayed his welcome? No. Pink Bomi going to be retreating after that one because he has no ult available.
Yeah, it's moments like this you wish you had the Glacial Prison available to lock people up. But unfortunately not, as Chippy's finds himself a kill.
Yeah, and as you said, it looked like Nah should have been probably the stronger one in this lane, but Chippy's, the reason they banned Sign seems to be apparent because he is playing that with such ease.
He definitely is controlling the lane. Only 9 CS difference between them. Not a substantial amount, but now they've got that kill in favor. That's a 1v1 kill. We just saw mid another 1v1 kill from Chenny Boy and Luch. So it's good. It's interesting to see how this is starting to unfold in favor of Best Players Ocean.
Yeah, they're really just showing that they can carry over the momentum from game 3 into game 4, sorry. And yeah, it's just showing much earlier this time. Despite the 3 kills, the gold lead is still pretty even. So everyone doing a great job of CSing.
Yeah, Kalista having a lead in the bot lane of about 10 CS is definitely helping with that. Xerath's 10 CS ahead though, and the CS gap's been completely closed in the top lane already. Those two, even though a kill went to Chippies, there's still going to be a Nara and a Sign at the end of the day, and they're still going to do their job as a nice hook comes out.
Yeah, Kennen gets hooked, but Sejuani was waiting. It looks like Kennen has been picked up. The Cannon comes through, but unfortunately not going too far in, just going for the carrier, and it looks like he's going to fall once this Rend comes out.
Very well done from Sejuani to be in the right place at the right time. So unlucky that the Rend could not be used because of the Gragas ultimate, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Disrupting him, not being able to use that Rend. And Chenny Boy's having fun mid now.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a completely different game now. We have basically reverse roles. Now Kennen is poking out the Xerath. He has finished his Athene's Unholy Grail. You'd think he'd be playing much more aggressive against a Sheen-only Kennen. Xerath, Corki, sorry.
Yeah. Working towards the Trinity Force is Corki right now, and you're right. It feels like the game just got turned upside down, and everything that was going well for Best Players Oceans just turned around. You can tell that the Sudden Fear bot lane have been doing so well. They're so strong at the moment, and it shows how that's translated into a positive outcome for them. They're going to go for this dragon. Maybe
I don't
contest
think
it.
there's much hope to steal this as long as Kalista can get her Rend on time. Oh, but Sejuani going to be going for the Smite instead. Looks like they're stuck in here.
They might be stuck.
Yeah, there's no Kalista ult, so Kennen is going to have
no.
to flash the wall.
Luckily having Flash available, otherwise that would have been a little bit more awkward than it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Xerath now has no ultimate. He has no blue buff. He's got no health. He's starting to struggle a little bit in this mid lane, but we do need a blue on Chenny Boy first before it starts to become, I believe, kill pressure opposed to what it is now.
Yeah, it looks like Jakey's just going to be taxing the lane as Luch goes back to buy. He should be going for some... Do you think he'll be going for a arm guard next?
He may go for an arm guard next. He might go for something completely different, stick to the old build, even go for a death cap. But arm guard seems like the likely decision. Work towards the Zonias. It'd be a good way to get out of the Gnar ultimate if need be. It's got a lot of utility behind it and effective resistances against the rest of the Sudden Fear team.
Yeah, but it looks like his last recall was just for a few wards and a few extra potions to keep himself in that lane. The blue buff has spawned up for BPO, so you can expect that to be given over to Luch on the return of Jakey.
I would certainly hope it's being given over to Luch unless Jakey's trying to copy Sejuani some more and wants to steal the buff back as if it's a point to make.
Yeah. Well, so far they've both made a few silly points with their ultimates, so let's see if they can go tit for tat with the blue buff steals. But yeah, it looks like Chenny Boy finally going to be getting the the blue buff he deserves.
Yes, thankfully. And that's going to change the mid lane dynamic a little bit more, I believe. You could see periods where Luch was beating the Corki were periods where he had blue buff. And now that Chenny Boy's actually got his blue buff, I believe, we'll see how this actually changes the dynamic of the mid lane. Both of them can now spam all of the spells that they want. And we'll see who actually hits more spells will be the one who comes out on top.
Yeah, so Nah just going to go into that mega form. It looks like Jakey is kind of hovering around the top lane. Maybe he wants to make something play, but he will be waiting for the Nars Raged bar to go down. Or I tell a lie, it looks like he wants this fight regardless. He goes for the flash body slam, ulting back in, but Christmas Tree's ults in the process. It looks like he's going to get knocked up, but the carrier is here as well, and that's a dead Christmas Tree.
That is 3 people in the top lane right now. Well done from Jakey, hitting the flash body slam again. Always whenever Flash is available, apparently able to use that body slam and catch someone out of position. As Luch trying to hit the ultimates, hitting 2 out of 3.
Yeah, nice.
Not good enough.
Not good enough, but just defending his tower against a pretty formidable push right there. Carrier coming back to provide that extra bit of support, and this looks like the first tower of the game. Oh no, yeah, first tower of the game, sorry. No, second tower, my mistake. The bottom tower was taken all that kerfuffle in the top lane.
Definitely, it was taken about 5 minutes or so ago when the last trade came out. Sudden Fear getting the bot tower and Dragon. Now the response comes out. They managed to find a kill on the Christmas trees. They managed to get the top turret for it, and they're starting to find objectives with their kills, which is great to see.
Yeah, that was probably their biggest feedback from last game, is they were getting these kills and then getting nothing from it. But this time, it seems like a whole different BPO. They're getting kills and then they're making objectives happen.
Yeah, Jakey's definitely walking around, and even the Thresh roaming. So smart of him right now. They have no reason to be bottom. The tower's gone, so Zeratul can freeze if need be. The rest of Sudden Fear look to be grouping around middle. What are they going to go for?
Yeah, Sudden Fear haven't really shown their hand at what they want to be fighting for just yet. Only the Dragon, but it was pretty uncontested, though burning a flash from cannon.
Yeah, uncontested almost entirely. They had a look and they did get the flash from cannon, but
yeah, good wards out of Zeratul. Going to be spotting this one early. But is he going to take hint of it? The cannon comes out. He's going to be getting the slicing maelstrom down. That's a stun onto Zeratul. But here comes Sion. But he runs straight past him. Oh, this train stops for no one. As here comes the Thresh, getting a nice hook on Emperor Moon. The Zerathul's coming in. Going to be cleaning him up. Christmas trees teleporting down, I do believe, but completely unwarranted.
He's still going in, though. He's going to try and hit all of the boomerangs. Chenny Boy's right there. They do a lot of damage.
Yeah, there is a ward in that bush, though, so Sion did know. In the flash play, hitting 2 members. Can Luch show us some more prowess on the Zereth? It looks like he will. Chenny Boy super low, but he flashes the Gragas ult, and maybe the disengage might come out. The Valkyrie escaping from the Sion Q, and yeah, it looks like the backoffs do come. Sejuani just sitting off on the left. She does have the Glacial Prison available. Will she go for it? I don't think the rest of the team are in position.
And that was a very prolonged fight where a whole lot did not really come from it. The Sion ultimate was the talking point that started the entire fight. That was awesome.
Beautiful.
Just casually strolling past where the fight was happening. Luckily enough, managing to be still relevant. Thresh getting a sick hook on the Kalista as he jumped. Absolutely perfect, ensuring that the Kalista was going to go down and managing to make a really good trade out of it.
Speaking of Kalista, it does look like we have the making for the Hurricane this game.
It does look to be a Hurricane, yeah. It's interesting to go... Why people choose to go between different things opposed to a static shiv going for a Hurricane now is Kalista's going to be massively the hard carry of this game right now and needs to be hitting as many targets to rend as possible. Sion, Gragas, Thresh, all going to have a lot of health, so it's definitely worth getting the rend stacks into them as well. And that's the key difference between the Hurricane and any other item is you're getting rend stacks into more people opposed to just one.
The attack speed is relatively the same, and as we know with the Kalista, more attacks equals more jumps. And the Dragon coming up in about 25 seconds, it looks like SF are the first people here, the first to act, kind of clearing out the wards, making sure their presence is known.
Definitely, and they're trying to cement, as we said last game, they are so focused on objective-based fighting. And Sudden Fear are going to not be spotted by that. They're going to have complete control of the Dragon area, and it's going to be up to Best Players Ocean to at least face check or walk in to see what's going on.
Yeah, it looks like Gragas' ultimate is available. Everyone's ult is available. How much rage is on Gnar? About half bar. The Dragon hasn't been started yet. Gnar really needs to start charging his rage bar if he wants to get anything done in this fight.
It's starting to feel like the impact that the Corki's having is not all that great at the moment. Has the Trinity Force finished, though? Big power spike. But the front line of Best Players Ocean are just not taking damage.
It'll be interesting to see how impactful it is once the fight starts, once he can start hitting
He's
multiple
got Mega
members.
Gnar.
The Mega Gnar is available. Will it come out here? No. A beautiful Threshland, but the Glacial Prison doing so much. The Naro comes in, only hitting Jakey, but the cannon is going to the backline straight onto Zeratul. He has been stunned up. He might be able to survive this one, though. Oh, the ult from Corki not doing enough. Oh, again, just narrowly missing. So after all that, just a 1-for-1. But this
so unlucky. There should have been more kills there. It's just managing to miss the rockets. They should be able to get this Dragon, but it looks like Best Players Ocean may even want to consider poking their heads around. This will be Dragon number 2 if it goes to Sudden Fear.
Yeah, it looks like the Rend is just going to be too much of a formidable opponent to even go for. The members of Sudden Fear just bouncing out of the back there. Chenny Boy, like you said, the Corki had the potential to go huge, but unfortunately missing a few of the key rockets that would have just turned that fight from a win into a stomp.
And it's still going in favor of Best Players, Sudden Fear rather. The lead is in favor of Best Players Ocean, as I mentioned that, and it's only about 700 gold, and we have a look at a replay of the last fight. So the Sejuani ult is what initiates the entire thing, and it's massive. And unfortunately, Zeratul flashing out of the Gnar ultimate, absolutely decimating Kennen in his stride, and so close to the rockets hitting. Xerath ultimate not going to secure anything, and just it was almost like a messy, close fight all around.
Zeratul just getting that flash off just in time as a Gnar ult came through. That would have definitely been death for him, and BPO having to completely retreat with only 3 members surviving.
Yeah, well, they still got the dragon from it. So
yeah,
it is 2 dragons. It's now 2 dragons to none. The gold lead is not worth mentioning. It's now dead even again. It's only 36 in kills. Baron's up, and it's 21 minutes, so it's unlikely that a team will look to do it, but there's a lot of focus that can be put around that area. If I were Best Players Ocean right now, I'd choose between mid or bottom, and I'd go for a turret.
Yeah, turrets seem to be the name of the game right now, giving so much global gold, just forwarding your team, accelerating your team into that late game is what BPO are about. Sudden Fear kind of spike it around their level 11, so we'll see them try to fight around then, I think.
Definitely want to hit that power spike. You can see the Trinity Force and the Bloodthirsters both finished on Corki and Callista. Had a good time to fight. The fight almost went so well in their favors there. They're now looking towards the next spike. I think it's being matched by Best Players Ocean in terms of spikes. And now you look for the Hurricane and the Sork shoes on the Corki at least before you feel like you're impacting a lot more.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Luch could be going for that hat, but he does have the makings of quite a few different builds, and the Gragas ult unfortunately knocking Kennen to safety.
Bad luck on the Gragas ult. They tried to make a play. They needed something to do, and that was the right move. Unfortunately, knocking him away, saving him for another day, and we move on with our game.
Now, what do you think Kennen's building this Giants belt into, or do you think it's just for flat health right now?
At the moment, it's just going to be exclusively flat health. It could go. There's no Righteous Glory is worth noting at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say the armband that you can get to build into Righteous Glory may have been a better build path.
He could have gone for the armband. I think that it may well just go towards... Even a Rylai's would be an interesting buy. I kind of would like that in this game. Instead of going for the Righteous Glory, you can just get Kite instead and have some slow utility instead of move speed.
No, that definitely makes sense because Kennen rather... Once he gets that Rylai's Crystal Scepter, the Q's, it's about 4-second cooldown, will be slowing. The Empowered Auto Attack also slowing. The Slicing Maelstrom slowing. There's a lot of potential to just kind of kite the enemy team or keep them from running away.
Yeah, every single spell from McKennen's kit works perfectly with Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and it's actually a really strong pick, but we'll see what he looks to do once he actually decides to upgrade that Giant spell into something.
But I would like to mention, Corki has a needlessly large rod.
He does.
Is that the making of a Luden's Echo?
It certainly looks like it. I don't think he'd be going for a death cap.
No. And the zone is maybe a little bit out of Corki's usual board build path.
So Trinity Force Luden's Echo is what looks to be the current Corki build.
I told you I'd seen it somewhere.
Well, you've now seen it more than somewhere. You've seen it here as well.
Yeah, it looks like Kalista going to have an easy time clearing the wave once she has that Hurricane.
Yeah. Hitting a pretty big spike, actually, with that needlessly large rod. Not going for the Sork shoes, which is quite commonly picked up as early as possible on the Corki.
Yeah.
To get more flat magic pen before going for damage. So I guess he just had enough for the needlessly large rod. And it was
Yeah, it's so tempting not to buy that flat AP. And like you said, Corki, a lot of magic damage, and he wants to, I think he wants to match Xerath, is pretty much the goal here. For every Xerath Q, he wants to throw out a missile.
Well, it's a good time to spike.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're looking to match the Xerath and you don't want to go for the Sork shoes because it'll take you too long to wind up to the Luden's Echo, perhaps, he's looking to avoid that and just go straight for the damage.
That's definitely correct here. It looks like Kalista, having finished off her Runaan's Hurricane, Graves going for a Phantom Dancer instead of a Static Shiv. More commonly see Graves with the Static Shivs to help him clear the wave.
I think for the most part, you see people get a Static Shiv when they need wave clearance.
Yep.
If there's one thing that he doesn't need when you're on a team comp with a Xerath and a Gragas, and even just Graves' natural spells, is wave clear.
Oh, but Moon and Kennen caught a little bit too far up. Is he going to be able to get out of this one? The teleport from Gnar comes in. He doesn't have any rage on that bar though, but Kennen comes in with the ultimate Slicing Maelstrom, only stunning the carrier. Is he going to die? The Ignite comes out. The Rend will surely finish him off. Not using it just yet. It must be on cooldown, or maybe he just wants to get a few more targets.
I don't think the Rend was available, to be honest.
That is so unfortunate. It looked like it was definitely a kill into Thresh, but yeah, the cooldown must have been used to farm minions earlier, or maybe using it a little bit early just to keep Thresh in range.
May have been used early in the fight to keep them close to in range so that the cannon could re-engage, and unfortunately not getting anything from that. bad luck, but they still have a commanding position now on the map.
Yeah, 35 seconds on the Dragon. No teleport on Gnar, though. Sion does have his available, but a champion like Sion doesn't really need his teleport to get into the fights.
No, he definitely does not need a teleport. He can just use the ultimate. But if it's a fight at a Dragon, you can't really use your ultimate to walk down through all of the curvy terrain that a Sion cannot really traverse with his ultimate.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. It seems like an ultimate that will be used at the point blank just for the little knock-up that it provides.
Yeah, he has teleport available, so I think he'll opt to actually just stay in the bot lane. Won't even need to use that teleport. He'll just split push and try and get the tower. The rest of Sudden Fear are looking to push mid at the moment, it seems, though, and then rotate after.
Yeah, Kalista doing a great job being the CS leader this game. Really showing that when you can hit 3 minions at once, your CS sensorize a lot quicker.
Yeah, it's a fair amount of CS too. 245 at 26 minutes, doing quite well for herself, and she's really coming through as a strong, strong pick right now. Banned last game, I believe it was as well.
Yeah,
so
it looks like the Crab's going to be going over for BPO, getting a nice bit of vision and speed on that live Dragon. But it looks like Pink Bomi coming in here. Sion has returned to the top lane. He does have teleport available. The Dragon has been started by Chenny Boy. Could this be a fight erupting?
Moon has no health at the moment, trying to dodge Xerath ults. So
oh no, here comes Gragas. That's going to be a kill. The explosive cast picking it up. Pink Bomi's got his number though. Is the Dragon going to be finished while they're all focusing their attention on Kalista? No, it's only down to about 3k health. Gnar is in mega form. The hook comes out. The flay onto Pink Bomi. They're going to have to retreat this one. Graves getting a tower for his troubles in the mid lane. Not even being in this fight. Once Kalista was taken out, he didn't feel a need to be there. Christmas Trees getting hooked by the carrier. He's going to get flayed out of his jump, but oh, the Sejuani ult not stunning, but slowing. And this should be a Dragon. Oh, and in the meantime, Chenny Boy is going to be taking out Xerath. So far back.
2 turrets, though, in the mid lane. Chenny Boy still kiting around, doing his best to live. We'll see how he goes here. He's still there. He's still hanging on.
Oh, it looks like Thresh, he does have the Mobies. He is going to catch him in time. It depends on if the Valkyrie will be off cooldown. The Roar of the Slayer readily available for Sion when he chooses to use it, but it's not going to be off cooldown in time. Chenny Boy...
Thresh still chasing.
Yeah, Thresh knows all it takes is 1 empowered auto from that flay, and that's a kill. Looks like Chenny Boy, knowing that maybe demise is certain, getting a few minions in that top lane.
He's just
Pink Bomi is coming back. Oh, Cannon Graves taking out Cannon, sorry. Didn't see that happening. It looks like the Dragon was taken by Gragas, though.
They're still going on the
They're still running. And it looks like Thresh has finally given up. Chenny Boy has escaped. The run for his life was successful.
A big, big chase. It was the purpose of distraction. They managed to get the Dragon, pick up Putt 2, and get a free kill for their troubles. With the Dragon, 2 towers for Zeratul. Zeratul was the reason that Moon was so low to begin with, and why he got picked off by the Gragas and Xerath ults. And it's just working out so well, this Graves pick for Zeratul.
Yeah, that's such poor positioning, unfortunately, for Moon. He was so far to the left when his entire team was basically sitting around the Dragon Pit that he got engaged on by Gragas, and there was no one there to help him. He should have taken a safer route and gotten there probably just a little bit later, but still with his life.
Yeah, unfortunate to see that happen. And this is all starting to play into the hands of best players Ocean right now. BPO are 2,000, or just under 2,000 gold up, but it's started to come back in their favor. They've got the momentum with them now, and as you can see, the Luden's Echo finished for Corki, and he's going to start doing a lot more damage, funnily enough, this weird hybrid build.
Yeah, I wonder what he'll be building next. Maybe a bit more ability power. Probably the Sorcerer's Shoes, as you've said. And you're also correct that Kennen probably going for the Crystal Scepter.
Yeah, it's not something that I guess you'd commonly see, but he doesn't need the Righteous in Glory to engage. He has the Sejuani to back it up.
Yeah,
He's got the Gnar.
Last game, I think he was going for it, but I think he had to build a little bit more team-oriented before. This time, his bot lane is ahead, so he's going to try and be getting a little bit more utility for his team in the terms of slowing rather than speeding up.
Zeratul casually tanking Baron's just going to walk through the pit and not really care because he is Zeratul and he is fed.
Yeah, pretty much. He's got an Infinity Edge. He's got another. He's got a Phantom Dancer and another BF Sword to boot, which looks like the makings of a Bloodthirster.
Not a whole lot of gold going onto him, I guess. He doesn't have the Bloodthirster to finish this. They go in.
Oh, but Sejuani, a nice Glacial Prison on two. She flashes on top of Jakey just to stop his escapes, but he's going to get out with the flash himself. Looks like Christmas Tree's in here. The Narbar is almost out, so he's going back into mini. This is just going to be a tower for their troubles. No kills traded, just a few ults and a few flashes.
But a Sejuani ultimate for a tower is definitely worth as long as they don't fight within the next minute or so now that it's down. There's no dragon for them to fight over. there's no other towers, outer towers for them to take. So definitely worth, and they're just going to go back to their lanes and continue to last hit red dots.
Yeah, pretty much Kalista just continuing with that lead. Look at that, just being able to wipe out a whole wave. It's so satisfying to see, so satisfying to do. Just stacking up a full thing of spears and cleaving them all at once. Yep.
Kalista's starting to ramp up quite severely now. Has a last whisper finish with the Runans and the Bloodthirst. The 3 big items. The holy trinity of damages. They're going in here.
Yeah, it looks like the slicing maelstrom only onto the carrier here. He's going to get taken out. This blue buff might go into the favor of Chennyboy. The ultimate from Xerath comes out. A team fight could be coming. Jakey, he's got his eye on Chennyboy. No Valkyrie available. Is a knockup going to come through? No, just the slow. Chennyboy, he's in a bit of trouble, but he dodges the roar of the Slayer.
I feel like it's just the story of Chenny's life, this game. He's constantly running and not having Valkyrie available. But a very nice pick there onto the carrier. They catch him out of position. And Zeratul is just so aggressive.
Look at that. In the face of a pretty tanky top laner. Doesn't care at all.
Yeah, honestly, I just don't think he cares full stop. He's just so aggressive. He just does what he wants, and it always works because he's just such a strong mechanical player.
But as you say that, it looks like Sejuani might try to cut him off. She doesn't have any backup, so it's more or less just to keep him at bay, trying to keep a leash on the Zeratul.
Nothing going to come from that, of course. So Corki split pushing in the bot lane at the moment. It's going to recall and hopefully get his Sork shoes that he so desires.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you got so much magic damage and ability power, you need the magic pen to back it up. So maybe after the Sork shoes, do you think a Void Staff will be an appropriate build path?
It may well be because he is predominantly doing magic damage. But in saying that, I guess there's not a whole lot of resistance coming out from the team of Best Players Ocean right now. It's just health stats. So if he's going to commit to the AP route, then he might go for a Zonia's or a Death Cat.
I'm thinking more of a Liandry's.
Liandry's actually a good suggestion too.
Liandry's, once he finishes that, it's going to be able to do that extra bit of percentage maximum health.
The shred build with the Gatling gun.
So what he's got so far doesn't tell us anything. Amplifying Tome builds into every ability power item in the game, essentially.
Most likely the Haunting guys,
yeah,
though,
that's what
he's
I'm
going
thinking.
to follow with the Liandry's.
It gives him the magic penetration that he needs, and the Liandry's is just such a great item against so much healthy targets.
That tells you something that he's going for the Amp Tome opposed to getting more wards or pots, is that he wants to get it soon. And Haunting guys has a very big mid-game spike type of item, so he needs the Liandry's as soon as possible. He doesn't want to sit on the Haunting guys for too long.
No, of course not. Looks like the carrier just getting his wards into the Baron pit, but a pink ward taking it out as he falls out there. Looks like another tower for Zeratul. That's his third of the game.
That's Zeratul doing so much work for his team at the moment. Out of the 4 turrets, he has solely contributed 3 of those, given his team a ridiculous amount of gold, and he is sitting quite pretty in terms of income. Weirdly enough, though, Kalista, now having finished 4 items, is still ahead of him in gold.
That's crazy to think, but when you look at the CS, 333 by 33 minutes is very impressive.
To say the least, it is very impressive, and Kalista's definitely ramping up right now. He's going to be able to provide a lot for the team if left unattended by what's the front line of Best Players Ocean.
Yeah, the Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. That's 2 dragons so far for Sudden Fear, 1 for BPA, so not the most highly contested dragon. But these guys love to fight around Dragon, and as I say that, it looks like a flash coming out from Kalista. The hook does get Banshee's Veil, but it looks like Chenny once again on the run. But there's someone that can run faster, and it's Chippy's on Scion. Not going to get the knock-up. Chenny Boy flashing away. Don't tell me he's going to come back in. What's he doing? It looks like his team has engaged behind him. He wants to get there. BPO Zeratul taking out Moon, so that's the Kalista dead. A double kill for Zeratul. Can he make it a triple? He is super fed right now. Oh, the body slam going to be hitting Christmas trees out of it. It looks like he's going to be on the run as well. Is Chenny Boy still alive in the back? But Christmas trees just going to be running away. But Zeratul just doing so much work on this Graves.
I guess it's funny to note that while they are chasing Chenny Boy, it's like a hilarious kind of anime show right now. It's just this guy constantly running away. There's a purpose for it, is that he's not doing damage to the rest of the team. He's exclusively hitting a Scion. In the last case, it was a Thresh following him around. They're not going to get the kill on the Chenny, as they never really tend to do. But it's letting Zeratul get free damage off. There's only one threat there with M for Moon, and he's being blown up. He had no Banshee's Veil available. The Thresh hook got rid of that. And he's just absolutely being destroyed by the amount of damage that Zeratul is putting out.
Yeah, and Zeratul finally letting his team get a tower for themselves while he opts for that dragon. But yeah, he's just doing so much work with the backup of Jakey Boy. I'm sure his ultimate was great that fight. They have been consistently on point. So it'll be interesting to see if Chenny Boy can stay on the right side of the map, but Here we go, a very sneaky Baron.
They've made the play for the Baron. They've decided the rest of Best Players Ocean are in fact in base, so it's a good decision. But
they're going to get it, I think.
The pings have come out. They know it's being done. The teleport's coming out.
Yeah, but Sun's got no way to get over the wall. That's Baron for sure, right?
1,000 health left.
That's
It's
it.
gone.
Kalista just rends it, and what a great play. Seeing the opportunity. They knew that they would take that extra bit of time to secure the dragon for themselves. And just like that, they take a Baron without any contestation.
So worth for them right now. A very, very smart rotation. You can tell by the way that Corky's going for that Haunting Guys into Leandri's build now. So it's going to be ramping up his damage a fair amount once he finishes that. And they've got the Baron buff to help them now. The gold lead is basically back down to nothing.
Yeah, it's shrinking every time one of these teams tries something amazing. So M for Moon, again, just going to be farming up a Storm like he has been this entire game. But it looks like he is getting caught a little bit by Zeratul.
It's very hard for him to not get caught with the rest of the team, though, unless they have them directly in front. And he's being caught out of position, I guess being a little bit too greedy for last hitting or for pushing or for just something that isn't necessary to be done. And it's working out quite badly for them, as you can tell. If M for Moon's not there to do free damage, the rest of his team are not going to be there to do damage at all. They're all just going to be running away, as that's all we've seen Chenny Boy do.
Yeah, he's not providing the second threat for his team that he needs. He's constantly getting zoned out by the Scion. But here we have him pushing a top lane. It doesn't look like anyone is going to be in position to stop him. We have Gragas running there, but he might be a little bit too late. With the Sheen procs and the empowered Baron minions, no, still not doing too much damage.
No, it's mostly magic damage, remember. His damage is not going to be too noticeable, but caught out of position here from the looks of it.
Yeah, I think the ultimate's going to go in. Oh, he's not even going to go for it just yet. Here it comes, and there comes Zeratul, just doing so much damage, and Scion just wants to be part of the screenshot.
The story of Chippy's life this game is the ultimate's just not being there at the right time. So close, but so far.
The saving grace for Sudden Fear is they did get that mid lane turret in the meantime.
They did, in fact, get the second inner turret for the mid lane, which is definitely worth the trade. They got a lot of damage onto the top turret as well. Even if he doesn't do much damage to turrets, he hit it enough that it's going to be able to be much more easily accessible and killed if they decide to rotate there in future.
It'll be interesting to see how they prepare for this next team fight, which will most likely be at the next Dragon. We do have the Leandris completed on Corky, rather. Not used to saying that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much this burn actually plays into the damage.
It really, really starts to shred the tanks. And you've seen that Scion stacking armor is sitting in front of the Corky pretty much from start to finish in a fight. Having the Leandros finish, the Gatling gun, the magic damage that you're doing now is going to start ramping up a lot. And Scion's going to have to be a little bit more careful. Hasn't finished a whole lot of magic resistance yet. Yeah,
like you said, no Locket of the Iron Solari for the jungler or the top laner. So if Corky can get off a few of these missiles, it's going to prove to do so much damage. The Luden's proc also providing extra damage. Do you think he might even go for some slow just to get the extra burn damage out of the Leandris?
I'm not going to continue to guess anything that Corky's going to buy from here on out. It's all a learning experience for me. And for all I know, he might just go for a Death Cap or a Rylai's next, because why not? Yeah,
why not? You've already invested this far into 2 ability power items, so... And the Rylai synergizes so well with the Leandris, giving...
Yeah.
As the Leandris reads, I think it's an 8% of maximum health, but 12% if it's a slowing ability. And Rylai's making all of your slowing abilities just helps so much.
Interesting that he's decided to go for the Trinity Force and then follow that up with 2 ability power items, though. It makes me wonder why not just keep it at a Sheen and then work towards a Lichbane.
Yeah, that is an interesting point to make. The Sheen, the ability power portion of the Trinity Force. Oh, looks like a bush strat coming out of BPO. Is anyone going to get cheeky? They have a lot of ways to check brushes, so if anyone face checks, it's pretty much just bad play.
They shouldn't be face checking. You can see the rest of the Best Players Ocean is going to walk into the mid lane now and not let them push needlessly while they sit in a bush and watch it unfold. They're going to try and control this, wait for a good hook to come out on an important target, maybe even use the Gragas to initiate, but...
Oh, looks like they're going in on Chip. He's probably the target they not really want to go for. The Thresh lane is going to get him out, but the ult hits 5 members, and the cleanse coming out. Jakey taking so much damage. He's going to fall the Slicing Maelstrom on 4 members. Another flash coming out, a double kill. The 3-man stun from Nah. Another kill, a shutdown for Kalista. Oh my god.
A pink Bomi just hitting the perfect ultimate right there on all 5 members of Best Players Ocean. From there, it just crumbled. Absolutely perfect. And for Moon and Chenny Boy able to get free hits from start to finish. Part 2 hitting a sick ultimate, slicing Maelstrom through all of them. And that Sejuani ultimate was massive.
That was absolutely insane. And we saw the Corki damage coming out when everyone's grouped those missiles, hitting 3 to 4 members, applying the Sheen, applying the Leandries. And then we saw the Na follow-up Flash W to stun like 3 people. It was insane. A great coordinated team fight.
Absolutely the perfect team fight, and it's exactly what they needed at this point in time. The gold lead completely turned around as Pachu's going to walk away and say, maybe I shouldn't be standing here. And they're going to get another turret for their troubles. Inhibitor and a turret, just because they caught people out of position with the perfect team fight.
You've got to be so careful against Sejuani, and that's precisely why you saw that a 5-man ulti. Cannon getting the cannon going right in, flashing, getting a 4-man slicing Maelstrom. The cleanse had already been used by Luch, so he wasn't going anywhere. I think he may have still survived that fight, but surviving isn't fighting.
And giving up the inhibitor, there's nothing they can do.
Exactly.
That was so good. The dragon is available. The next decision from Best Players Ocean may well just be to secure this dragon. The rest of Sudden Fear are on the way. They may be too late though. A lot of damage from Zeratul.
Cannon will have his ultimate available for this fight, but no, the dragon will be taken away by Jakey.
Now we've got the makings of a Void Staff to answer the question. May well still be a Rylars. I don't want to say anything too quickly, but coming out from Chenny Boy there, a little bit more magic penetration from the amount of magic damage that he's already built.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Void Staff over the Rylars. The Rylars, sure it synergizes, but does he really need the extra health and the slow? I think a Void Staff, after you saw how much damage he can do on the right targets, the Void Staff just adds even more to that.
Yeah, and there's a null magic mantle coming out from Graves as well, starting to build towards a magic resistance item. It's worth getting the Void Staff in anticipation of the fact that they will have the resistances soon.
Now, do you think that's going to be a BV or Banshee's Veil rather, or a QSS?
I would wager a QSS solely
Yeah.
because there's no point having a Banshee's Veil against the team of Sudden Fear.
Yeah, Corky's just going to constantly proc that every time you're near.
Exactly. Corky and Cannon are just going to be throwing out shurikens and bombs, and they're going to prevent you from even really having a use for the Banshee's Veil.
Well, we got the Baron up in 2 seconds, and it looks like Sudden Fear are setting up. Nara in the bot lane, he does have teleport. Looks like Jakey, the carrier, just walking in, and that's a lot of damage on a tank.
That is a lot of damage on a tank, and that's entirely what the build is meant to do. Is Thresh is just going to proc the Baron, make Chenny Boy have to run away.
Yeah, a little bit cheeky here. Not much going to come out of it. Looks like Kalista just clearing off the wards. This dragon, a very real possibility, and it has been started once that ward has been cleared. It looks like the Gnar will be teleporting in. Where will the Scion go? It looks like he's teleporting on the right side. Nowhere to get over the pit. The flash isn't available, but they are peeling off at the moment. Looks like they want Gnar to go in. Gnar doesn't have the flash ult available, but he is going to hit no members just yet. Not too much happening. The miss from the Sejuani ult. The Gnar ult not doing too much either. Jakey just peeling for his team. Zeratul completely untouched, but here comes a cannon ulti, hitting and stunning 3 members. That's a kill for Kalista. Another kill for Corky. A kill for Graves. And Moon is just trying to run back. Looks like Jakey is on Corky, but here comes the Eye of the Storm, finishing off Chenny Boy. Looks like Nth Moon living with a slither of health.
And Zeratul only just not getting the kill. They're very unlucky. That fight, very unfortunate. The ultimate's missed. Gnar not in a position to use his ultimate effectively, having to use it on the tanks. Sejuani ult completely whiffing, only hitting Thresh and not even stunning. And they got 2 tanks.
But look at the damage done to that in the Nexus turret. The Nexus turrets still regen, if I'm correct.
They
yes?
do regenerate, yes.
So, but not very quickly. It is a shame that it didn't, for Sudden Fear, of course, it is a shame that the Nexus tower didn't go down, or else that would have been very worth.
Is he waiting for Gragas, or is he just sitting in the pit, like having a dance with... Okay, there he goes. All right, they want to start the Baron up. They want to get this down while they can. 3 members still dead from Sudden Fear, and everyone has rotated from Best Players Ocean. Yeah,
no cannon ult available, so not providing much in the way of CC. Only single target. Luch is still available. Luch is still up with full mana, full health, but Moon is going on him. Can he finish him off? No, but the red team get the Baron, and looks like Jakey's going to come in. Sudden Fear is going to be retreating from this one. Oh, and a nice snipe from Luch, hitting both of the ultimates, not even needing the third, if I'm correct.
So the zone use got used from Luch. Very impressive, very smart of him to have the zone use now instead of going for another item. The turret has gone down though. Super Minions doing a lot of work for Sudden Fear here.
Yeah, that's probably the best case scenario. I doubt they would have been able to stop that Baron. Graves and Gragas. Gragas getting a nice damage reduction and percentage health on his W. And Graves with the Bloodthirster, he's in no fear of taking a little bit of punching himself.
I don't think Graves is in fear of anything in general. He's just Zeratul. Going for that QSS, has it available now, so the Sejuani ult not going to be doing as much to just him. Luch is still very killable, though he has the zone use. It's on cooldown at the moment, I believe. There's a window, but there's also Baron minions barreling down into your base.
Now we saw BPO in this position last game, and they were still able to kind of let it go. But this looks like a much more determined BPO. Not too much going to be humming out. It looks like the Sejuani is just sussing out the opponents, deciding when she wants to ulti. Moving up very carefully. Not going to find an
opportunity anytime soon, I don't think, though. They're just trying to harass and poke their way into the base to, I guess, whittle down the turrets and the objectives that they need. If they can get that turret down, they can force their way in and at least push into the inhibitor.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm convinced on this AP Corki quite yet. I like the addition of the Void Staff. It's going to give him that extra ignore 40% magic resistance that he needs. But it's besides when his team completely line everyone up for him, the poke is just not really there.
It's very hard to get the poke off you need when the rest of best players Ocean are just initiating, though.
Yeah, true.
He needs those big bombs to connect with the Luden's Echo, and it needs to be on the right targets. He needs to do what he just did there to Luch.
There we go.
And you can see that was a small bomb. Imagine how much damage one of the mega bombs does against Luch or Zeratul.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. He just really needs to have some patience. Hopefully just kind of sneak one in there. The Mega Gnar not available for a little bit. So this is kind of BPO's time to get some damage onto this tower.
It's going to be very hard for them to get any damage onto the tower. There you can see Corki being a nuisance right now, just annoying Luch and trying to do as much damage as they can to him as possible because he's the only one that they can tank down. And here they go.
Nice four-man ultimate. It looks like in the back, Luch is just trying to snipe. I think Pink Bomi is going down. In the meantime, Thresh kills him. And what is going on here? It looks like nothing more to come from it.
One for nothing, but they're going to be able to get the inhibitor. 60 seconds on Sejuani. A nice ultimate from Sej. Kennen had no health from the start of the fight. They got pushed out quite convincingly, and they might be out of position right now trying to go towards bottom.
Yeah, it looks like Moon is just trying to do what he can as his carry. Oh, but there comes Sion locking him up for about 3 seconds. The ultimate from Kennen coming out. Can the Ren do enough to keep Moon alive? Chippy's doing so much damage. The Ren not available. The Ignite ticking. Look at Chenny Boy just getting away. That's
They're
2
also
kills.
low.
Oh, can Patu come in? He's trying to get the... He's got one more stack for the stun to be available. But Graves taking out Gnar in that fight. All of them just absolutely blinking.
Corky's there.
Chenny Boy, he wants to make a play here. Graves, God. I can't even see his health bar. It's that low. But Chenny Boy, knowing his limits, not going to risk his life for that one.
So close. There's been so many fights that have come down at just the smallest margins of health. The Luden's Echo almost killing Zeratul there, putting him down to less than 100 HP. But they're going to be able to get the Dragon. That is Dragon 4. And they're now 3k gold ahead.
Yeah, look at that. Just a massive wave for Chenny Boy to take in the top lane. So that fight, it looked like it was going to be a nice free tower for BPO, but they chose the greedier route, going through the base, and Sion and Jakey kind of going a little bit too ahead because the 3 squishies got caught out by Moon and Patu. And yeah, it resulted in a few unnecessary losses for BPO.
Yeah, they had the right idea. They were going to rotate towards the bot lane. The turret's gone, so they had the inhibitor available to be taken. They just went the wrong way, and they had to back up. Luch's dead. That's why.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Pink Bomi just going to be getting that blue buff over for Chenny Boy. He already has one of himself, but could the carrier come through and do something sneaky? Not today. Neither of the objectives going to be up anytime soon, so just preemptive wards at the moment.
They're just trying to secure vision control where possible. Most of Sudden Fury are going to be stuck in their base, as you can tell by the super minions keeping Moon busy and Patu busy also. They're going to get the blue buff onto Luch. They're going to try and find a situation where they can either go bot lane and siege the turret there, or the inhibitor rather. There is no turret protecting it anymore. Very real possibility for them to do that. Hold out for, say, 2 minutes and then Baron's up.
Yeah, Baron, like you just mentioned, Baron is back up. Everyone starting to hit their full builds. Another 50-minute game we're watching. This is very intense. BPO could possibly tie it up here. Sudden Fear looking not too behind as the gold difference, barely even worth mentioning, as you said.
Yeah, the goal difference is not massive. They're not necessarily behind whatsoever. If they get another team fight like we saw from them earlier, as Pachu's coming in here just to say hello to Jake and give him a stun.
Yeah, it looks like Nth Moon has his back, doing a lot of damage. The Rend hasn't even been used yet, but the stun coming out from Luch doing so much. Here comes the ultimate. He's going to hop, skip, and jump away.
He's still got his banshees available, so not a single spell hitting there, unfortunately. They are going in, though, onto Chippies.
Yeah, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, but a nice ultimate from Jakey. Going to be stopping Sejuani in her tracks, and the stun is knocking away Christmas Tree.
They're not actually looking to get a kill from this at the moment, which is unfortunate. They've got the health advantage. They may want to push this small advantage that they have and try and poke down the mid inhibitor, though. We'll see if they can get in or if they're just going to opt to back off.
Yeah, the only problem is, look at their mid wave. The super minions on their side are pushing way too far up. They have the potential to lose a Nexus Tower if they don't recognize that threat.
Yeah, they're definitely backing off. Nars recalling as we speak.
All right, that's good to see.
They're going to come back to lane, and smartly everyone disappearing from vision on the map as their Nar recalls, so there's no Scion engages about to happen. And the vision control about to come out. All the best players Ocean focusing around the Baron area. 20 seconds until it is up.
Yeah, just the amount of health on Scion, and with that Iron Elixir, he is gigantic, basically blocking the chokehold by himself. The Baron in 10 seconds, the Crab was taken about a minute ago, so it should be respawning. I can't really see the timer on top of them.
Don't be surprised if Sudden Fear react to this Baron being up by just going mid and taking the inhibitor. It's a very real possibility that because it is open, they have two carries basically in terms of damage with the Corki and the Callista. They can very easily take objectives. And while we're talking about Callista, 480 CS.
Oh, that's a thing of beauty right there.
That's a lot. That's so much.
And as you mentioned, not even waiting for them to start the Baron. Their inhibitor is respawning. As you can see, a cannon minion in the mid lane. Looks like Sudden Fear playing this really up into the faces of BPO right on the doorstep of their base. The open inhibitor, they want to get it.
They definitely want to at least force best players Ocean away from the Baron pit. And that's the best way to do it. If you make them come back mid, if you say, well, you've got to choose now between your inhibitor or the Baron, they're always going to go for their inhibitor and save it before going back to Baron. But now you get a chance to secure some control. Their inhibitor's back up. The wave is reset. Everything's pretty much back to standard, and it's going to come down to this next team fight. Yeah,
Chenny Boy taking a lot of poke, though. I don't know if he can survive another Q from Xerath in combination with the ultimates. So he's going to have to be very careful if his team want to stay poised around this Baron.
Yeah, they definitely need to remain calm, find the pick that they require, and it's going to come down to if Sudden Fear can initiate right or if best players Ocean can capitalize on their lack of initiation.
Yeah, it looks like Corki was able to go back and heal up to full. And as we say that, BPO just backing off. So both teams at a real standoff right now, waiting for the other to make a mistake. This could potentially be the last game. So neither team want to make that mistake. BPO, they want to win. They don't want to be eliminated. And Sudden Fear,
They're starting the Baron is what Sudden Fear are.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like Callista getting some good damage already. Partu taking a lot of damage off the Baron, but the Sejuani ult hitting 3 members. Scion in the back, but Partu getting taken super low by Luch. He is in his ultimate state, trying to hit someone. Christmas Trees getting destroyed by Zeratul. The ult coming through, doing so much damage. Corki getting 1. Zeratul getting a double kill. Another kill coming out for Scion. Looks like Pink Bomi is going to have to retreat, and that's a 4th kill coming out for Xerath.
And this is looking dire for Sudden Fear right now. The team fight that they tried to force onto best players Ocean has completely backfired. It's going to be at the very least 2 inhibitors. And I think they're tanky enough that they may well be able to end this game.
Yeah, they've got 3 members available, and Scion, even just with 2,000 health, he's going to have so much extra resistances. Looks like you are right, though. They are going for both inhibitors. Look at that massive wave in the bot. Everyone dead for about 40 seconds. I don't think Sudden Fear can come back from this.
They've been playing very confidently right now. The team fight that they needed just came through right there, and they're going to be able to end this game. That's going to put this series at 2-2. And the winner will be going to the OPL of our next game.
That is absolutely insane. The first 2 games, Sudden Fear had such an advantage, but it's amazing to see BPO. They had their backs against the wall, and they've shown us that they also deserve a spot in the OPL.
Definitely showing that they're very experienced individual players. They're keeping it calm and collected. They're doing what's required of them. They're not tilting themselves if someone dies. If they lose a team fight, it's okay. They know what their objectives are. They know what their win conditions are. They're focusing on those. And it's now 2-2.
And this is why we play best of fives for games like this. The most important game for either of these teams. It could be win or lose. Who knows? But check in for the next game.